forget to hit record. Of course I did. Okay, today we're working time under tension, but we're gonna work the shoulders. But in order to work shoulders, we have to work the lower extremities as always because they're analogous body parts. So the shoulders correspond to the hips correspond to the opposite shoulder. So we're also in an interesting, what would be the word? Almost metaphor of what's going on in the hips is what's going on in the shoulders and vice versa. Except that the hips are load-bearing joints and shoulders are non-load-bearing. I mean, they can carry a load, but all day long, the hips as you walk, even as you sit, are load-bearing, where the shoulders, you can take a load off your shoulders. So the trick to opening up the shoulders is actually open up the hips. So we're gonna spend some time opening up hips before we go after shoulders, but mainly we're going after shoulders, and then eventually we'll go after some of the lower extremity muscles, because it's all important in the equation. Just give you a little bit background on me. COVID's been a really hard time on me, not COVID the disease, but COVID period, because I sustained a lot of injuries during that time period. I blew out the meniscus in my right knee, and I injured my left shoulder, and so I'm gonna reverse it for you guys, my right knee and left shoulder. And that's been a constant dilemma. So I've had to learn how to reconnect to my shoulder, especially. That's been the bigger problem. My left knee's finally healing, but my right knee's finally healing, but my shoulder is taking a little bit longer. So these are some of the rehabs that I've developed to help my shoulder, but will also help your shoulders even if you don't have a shoulder problem, and will prevent future shoulder problems, which is more exciting. Because the only time you have injuries to the shoulder, because the shoulder is such an interesting joint, it's very loosely held to your body. We think it's such a solid joint. Oh, you always hear about people dislocating their shoulders, where the reality is the shoulder dislocates really easy because the only place it's actually attached to the body is right here. It has a pseudo articulation back here. It's called your scapulothoracic joint. But otherwise it's only attached here, and we always think of it as here. So that means 21 muscles hold our body and get it to function so your shoulders stay connected to your body. So we're gonna work on those 21 muscles in a full range of motion, and it's trickier than you think. So we're gonna start from the bottom. Feet parallel, you know the story, hips width apart. Here's your ASIS, here's your pubic symphysis. Midway in between is that hips width apart. We're gonna make sure those feet are parallel, then we're gonna push down big toe and the corresponding metatarsal head, outer four toes and the corresponding metatarsal heads, but really focusing on that fifth toe, and finally your heel. 1/3 the weight through the balls of your feet, 1/3 the weight through your toes, and 1/3 the weight through your heels. The reason why this is important is most of the signaling to your shoulders actually comes from your feet. So if the feet aren't grounded properly, you start getting shoulder problems, because as your weight shifts backwards, your shoulders start rounding forward to counterbalance, but as your weight goes forward on your toes, you'll notice your shoulders drop down and back, and that's what we want. So from here, once we got our feet parallel and our feet grounded, I'm gonna close the door because the neighborhood kids are screaming again. We're gonna push down big toe, little toe, all the rest of the toes, and your abs are engaged, and you're gonna stand. We're gonna start creating time under tension. You're gonna externally rotate your legs, but keep your feet parallel. Quads stay on, calves are on. Now we're gonna activate first chakra, your pelvic floor, second chakra, your lower abs, third chakra, your upper abs, and then you're gonna draw your shoulder blades down and back as you're creating all sorts of tension in your body to become an Academy Award. And you're just gonna hold this. I want you to really activate your abs, because for the rest of the class, it's gonna be all about stabilizing right here in your core. Abs are nice and tight with that pelvic floor on, lats are on, abs are nice and tight. We're gonna start out with our little squat. So this is time under tension. So as you squat down and you get to the bottom of the squat, even though it's not very deep, I want all your muscles on. When you hit the top, where you're really familiar with, where you like to lock out your legs, all your muscles are on. There's no point where you turn your muscles off. Your abs are on. It's like you're picking up that wheelbarrow that's really unstable off that one wheel. You gotta keep all your muscles on. I remember I wanted to play with the wheelbarrow as a kid so badly. I saw this man playing with it that I had to try it, and then I picked it up, and there was probably, I was little, so it was 50 pounds of weight in there, and it's balanced on one wheel, so it pulls one way, pulls the other, and it just, all I did was fall to the left, fall to the right. It took me all summer to gain the strength to be able to just hold it and walk with it. Abs are nice and tight. Keep breathing. Okay, now you're feeling time under tension. Keep your abs engaged. We're gonna stay low. Abs are nice and tight, hip circle. Maria's gonna come say hello. Maria's not gonna be with us today. Come, just Stephen. She's gonna say hello because she's off to volunteer at Fish Cake today. So if you guys have time, head down to Fish Cake and buy her pottery. Abs are nice and tight. Feel what it feels like to move from your core. I know you can move from your legs and your legs should be moving, but I want the movement to come from your core. Go in the opposite direction. Suck in that tummy. Okay, good. Now we're gonna straighten both legs. You're gonna lock both legs out. Quads are on, calves are on, abs are on, lats are on, hip circles once again. See how different it feels as you pull through your core. Abs are nice and tight. Keep breathing. And now go in the opposite direction. Keep your abs engaged. Try not to move your head. Your head's gonna move a little bit. For the most part, it stays in between your feet. Okay. Abs are nice and tight. We're gonna stretch out the lower half of the body before we get into too much of the upper body. This will be an interesting lower half of the body stretch. We're gonna do our basic stretch. We're gonna start out with the calf because that's the hardest thing to go after and it most influences your shoulders. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy. Chest is up. First, second, third chakras are on. Abs are nice and tight. You're pumping your hips forward. Suck in that tummy. And now you're gonna break into a hip circle. Remember, every athletic motion is hidden in a hip circle. So the better you are doing a hip circle, the more athletic range of motion you have. And we are everyday athletes. Everything we do means we have to be safe. Suck in that tummy as you now go in the opposite direction. Keep breathing, keep that head still. Jaws are relaxed. Okay, we're gonna switch sides just so I don't lose track of things. Heel is down, feet are parallel, abs are nice and tight. You're lifting up first, second, third chakra, especially second chakra. You're pumping your hips forward first. Abs are nice and tight, jaws relax. Smiles are up, abs. And then hip circles. Try not to move your head, you're moving your hips. Notice if any portion of your hip circle is restricted and it compensates into your neck. Try to get it out of there. And now go in the opposite direction. You're moving from your abs, you're moving from your core, you're not using your butt. Your quads are on, your calves are on, your lats are on. Everything that holds you upright is still on. It's just being stretched, okay? Go ahead, take your foot off the block. You can hold the roller if your balance isn't great. This early in the morning, you're gonna take your left hand, grab a hold of your left foot. Okay, so this is what most runners do is they abduct. This is not a stretch, and I really don't see any runners run like this. You're gonna bring your knees together. Abs are nice and tight, you're sucking in your tummy. We're gonna do that hip circle once again. Keep your knees together, pull your heel to your butt, and you're gonna move from your hips. Try to keep your knees together. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy. Smiles are up. Yes, these are for your shoulders. If these aren't open, we cannot open the shoulders. Suck in that tummy. Go in the opposite direction. You should also feel your glute medius work. That's that muscle right here. Oops, lost my support. Okay, now you're going to take that leg back behind you. Try to keep it in the same plane it was before. So don't let it go out to the side. You're just taking it straight back. You're bending your front knee, keeping your heel to your butt, chest is up, abs are on. Sucking that tummy. Watch that knee alignment. Watch your right knee over the top of your foot. Sucking your tummy. Shoulder blades are down and back. Just a few seconds more. And good, we're gonna switch sides. Okay, once again, don't let your leg, it's called abduct. We're gonna adduct them together. Abs are nice and tight, chest is up. Sucking your tummy. You may even feel a pull in your shoulder, and that's okay. Hip circles. Keep breathing. Keep your knees together. You're moving from your hips, not from your knees. Opposite direction. Suck in that tummy. Okay, staying in this position. You're going to take that leg back behind you straight. Bend your front knee, chest is up, abs are on. Remember, time under tension, we're working muscles and not joints. If you feel this in any joint, you need to tighten something up. So if you feel this in your low back, tighten your abs. You feel this in your knee, you have to tighten your quad, your hamstring, and your calf. Suck in your tummy. Just a little bit longer. And we're gonna release. Okay, so now we start time under tension for the upper extremities. So first, recheck into your stance. You should notice that you're almost drifting forward. You feel like you're gonna fall on your face. You're not. It's just that your center of mass is changing because you've lengthened some of the most important postural muscles. They're also your dynamic muscles that move you forward, so it's getting you ready to move forward. Abs are nice and tight. Okay, you're gonna bend your knees slightly. If you turn your knees out, your quads go on. Pelvic floor is on, abs are on. So you're gonna take your, your right arm out in front of you. You're gonna go palms down. You're gonna take your left hand, you're gonna hook the side of it. So what your right arm is trying to do is push away. And this arm's preventing it from pushing away. So we're creating a dynamic ring of tension in the upper half of the body. You feel it? You should feel it across your shoulders and in your back. So what's really easy once we feel the tension in your shoulders is to turn off our abs. You're gonna keep your abs on. Abs are nice and tight. You're literally trying to pull your arms apart, but you're resisting. Can you feel that? That should cause your chest to go up. Keep your butt relaxed, keep your abs on. All you're gonna do is keep that resistance going on as you take your arms up and down. These are gonna work some of the smaller muscles of your shoulders. I want you to keep your abs engaged, especially at the top and the bottom is where it's gonna be easy to turn off your abs. Down on the bottom, because all day long your arms are by your side, so it's easy to turn off your abs. Up towards the top, it's too hard to work and you don't wanna work it down there. Okay, just keep doing that. As you now add a more circular motion, still ripping things apart. You should feel the small muscles of that right shoulder getting a little bit fatigued. And you can go in the opposite direction any old time. Or you can go back and forth. Abs are nice and tight. You can take it through any range of motion as you make it bigger now. Keep your abs engaged. You're working that shoulder. Should be fatiguing by now. And good. We're gonna do the other side. Left hand goes palm down, right hand goes over the top. You're ripping things apart. So this arm's trying to go out, the other arm's trying to pull it this way. Abs are nice and tight, your knees are bent, your butt's relaxed, pelvic floor is on, and then here you go again. You don't want to hear snapping and grinding. If you hear snapping and grinding, it means something turned off. This is time under tension, so we want muscles to work. So you should feel sore in the muscles and not joints. These are working very small muscles and very small motions of your shoulders. We're working the sits muscles. Those are rotator cuff muscles. And we want to make sure they stay healthy and strong, because if they do, you never have shoulder problems. As they weaken, you have all sorts of shoulder problems. Now you can do it at different angles as you do circles, keeping that ripping tension going on. Keep breathing. Keep trying to separate your arms. No cracking, no popping. Abs are engaged. Your core is connected to the extremities. You're making that upper ring, so you don't want to lose it in the lower abdomen. Arms are going in the opposite direction if you haven't already. Keep your shoulder blades down and back if you can. This is isolated motion for your shoulders. And then we're gonna go and just do any position now. Keep that tension going on. You're ripping apart. So this is dynamic isometric. Abs are engaged. So this is not so much stretch as you would think it is, but it is stretch because the muscle is contracting. Okay, go ahead and release your arms. That's harder than you think it is. Did you feel it? It should be tiring if you did it correctly. So we're going to change angles on it. Your hand's going to go palms up. Other hand goes underneath. You're going to grab a hold. Abs are nice and tight. First, get your abs set. We're going to create that upper ring as you're now pulling apart. So you're trying to pull these two apart. They're creating that dynamic tension. Abs are nice and tight. We're going to start out by just going up and down. No cracking and popping. Abs, stay on. Don't let your abs shut off. Don't let this work transfer into your neck either. It's all about keeping work in the proper compartments. Rip, 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 rip. You've got opposition going on here. They don't want to be together. Keep breathing. And now you can add the rotational component to it. Keep pulling apart. This should be tiring if you're doing it correctly. Don't let it go into your neck. You'll feel it later if you let it go into your neck. Keep your abs engaged, pelvic floor on, your legs are on. And when you feel ready, opposite direction. Okay, good. We're going to do the other side. Shake it out first. This is a lot of work in those small muscles, so it should be fatiguing. If it's not, you're doing something wrong. Abs are nice and tight, palms up, other hand grabs a hold. Rip. You're creating that dynamic tension apart. You're opposing that tension, and we're going to start out by going up and down. No shoulder cracking or popping because we're using muscles, not joints. We're especially not using the joint capsule of the shoulder to hold together. We're using muscles to hold the joint capsule in a safe place. Chest up, abs on. And you're now going to take it into circles. Oh, you're learning a lot about where your shoulders turn off, and try to make this easy. You'll notice that when your abs shut off, go in the opposite direction. Don't let your abs shut off. Keep that dynamic tension going on. Keep breathing. Suck in that tummy. And good. Go ahead and shake out those arms. It's harder than you think. So we're doing mainly motions in front of us. We will do motions behind us next, but I just want you to just notice what it feels like. Now you're going to take your arm a little bit across your body. You're going to grab your elbow. Your elbow wants to go this way. This hand's still pulling that way. We're creating that opposition as you create range of motion through your shoulder. You should feel the small muscles of your shoulder going to work. You should not be carrying this in your neck or in the shoulder joint. You should feel your lat connect to your abdominal muscles. So it's always interesting, opposite direction, when I have clients complain about being not able to sleep on their shoulder anymore. Because it means that the muscles have weakened and they're not able to hold yourself together as you sleep, because you need a certain amount of muscle tension in order to sleep. Otherwise, you fall off your joints and they start aching and you rely on the joint capsule. And good. Let's do the other side. Same thing. This elbow's trying to go out this way, this arm's pulling this way as you do your circles. Keep the muscles on the whole time. There's no point where they turn off, no point where your abs shut off. You should not be clenching your butt. Your knees are bent. Keep breathing. What you doing, Wolfie? Keep pulling apart, creating dynamic tension. Don't lose the tension. Opposite direction. Get rid of any cracking and grinding. Stabilize for sudden sharp pains as your shoulder tries to turn off. That's dangerous too. Okay, good. Shake out those arms. I had a friend who was a racquetball player, and he did a single overhand smash, and he's been doing it so often he knows what muscles to turn off, and he dislocated his shoulder. He did what was called a Bankart fracture on his shoulder, and that's really painful. It took him over a year and a half, almost 2 years of rehab and surgery to fix his shoulder. If you had done these, it wouldn't have happened, okay? You're gonna take your arms back behind you. You're gonna grab your right arm with your left. Everything we did before. Abs are nice and tight, you're sucking in your tummy. You're gonna feel what it feels like to move it away and then back to your body. I'm gonna turn around so I can watch you guys. So you're holding it, you're ripping apart, creating an opposition, and you're lifting and lowering it, not letting any muscle shut off. Keep your abs engaged. This is the most important piece. And now you're gonna take it into ranges of motion behind you as you keep your abs engaged, as you lift and lower. Keep that dynamic tension on. You're working those shoulders. Now the more anterior muscles of your shoulders. Go in the opposite direction. Keep ripping apart. Keep your abs engaged. Keep your butt relaxed. Keep your knees bent. Okay, good. Shake it out. Switch sides. So now you're taking that left hand back behind you. Your left hand's trying to push out this way. Your right hand's opposing it. And you're gonna first take it up and down. Keep your knees bent, your butt sticking out. Keep your abs engaged. Notice when your abs want to shut off. Notice when your head wants to go anterior. Keep the work out of your neck. It's not in your neck at all. It's in your abs and in your shoulders. And now you're going to start moving it around. Keep that dynamic tension on. You should also feel your arms engorging with blood. That's good. That's how you know you worked out your arms. Abs engaged, opposite direction. So you could basically do this in any position you feel instability in your shoulder. How do you know you have instability? It will hurt and you'll avoid it. And that's why you have to strengthen it. Okay, good. Shake out those arms. Tiring, huh? Abs are nice and tight. Interlock your fingers. Shoulder blades go down and back. I want you to think really muscular, okay? Where it's like we're hacking at wood. You're gonna rip apart now. Your arms should be very dynamic. So your arms are trying to pull apart. Your fingers are holding them together. Abs are engaged up over the top of your head. You're chopping wood. Keep your abs engaged. Notice when they want to shut off at the top and at the very bottom. Don't let it. Stabilize those shoulders. Smiles are up. And now you can move those arms around as you're ripping things apart. There should be no cracking or grinding. You can just move around. Abs are engaged. If you work with your upper extremities and your hands and your arms, this should be a piece of cake. Okay, good. Shake your arms out, put some blood back into your hands. If you did this, it is a strenuous work piece, and so you'll notice that your extremities work hard. Take your arms back behind you, abs are engaged. Interlock your fingers. Start out by just taking them away and bringing them back. Keep your abs engaged, shoulder blades down and back. I know you can round. On this one, we want you to keep your shoulders engaged as you bring your arms back and forth. Suck in your tummies, don't let that hang out. As you now add movement, keep your abs engaged. Keep the dynamic tension on. Bring it near your butt and away from your butt. You can go in the opposite direction whenever. Good. Shake out your arms. Things should feel like it's tightening up, and it's weird. It'll feel tight but relaxed. It'll feel the tension of work, but it'll feel like, oh, my arms are able to articulate, and that's a good thing. So we're going to work one of the most unstable ones. You're going to go, your hands up like you're waving to someone that you don't care about much. Hey. And then you're going to take your other hand, you're going to push. So this hand's trying to move back. This one's moving forward. And same thing, we're going to go up and down. Keep the elbow out. This will work a small muscle called the infraspinatus, along with the subscapularis. Keep that dynamic tension. Like there's a playing card between your hands and your elbows out, and you don't want someone to steal that playing card. Now add motion to it. Abs are nice and tight. Tension in your legs and abs as well. Don't use your butt. Opposite direction. If you're doing this correctly, your shoulders should be dying because it's more work than these little muscles have done in a long time. All right, shake it out. Hi. Okay, remember we're doing external rotation on this hand. We're going to take your other hand, put it on top, elbows out, pull into it, suck in your tummy. You're going to just move it up and down. Keep your elbow out. No cracking and popping. We want muscles working, stabilizing the joint, not getting in the bad habit of seeing what muscles we can turn off. Quads are on, abs are on. As you start moving everything around, keep that elbow out. See what it feels like to move around, keeping that elbow out and that external rotation going on. These are the muscles that weaken the fastest, and that's what leads to so many shoulder problems. Keep that opposition on. Hooty, 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 hooty. Let go of your arms, abs are nice and tight, shoulder blades are down and back. Now we're going to do a few shoulder rolls. You're going to bring your shoulders down and back. Make sure nothing's cracking or popping because you're using muscles. Keep your abs engaged. If you did this right, it should feel like you've done a shoulder workout, even though what we did is primarily stretch. Okay, now you're going to take your right hand, put it behind your left shoulder blade, which should feel a whole lot easier than what we've done in the past. You're going to push the back of your right hand into your back. You're going to keep your abs engaged. It may cause your back to arch a little. Abs are nice and tight. We're going to open up our stance a little bit, suck in your tummy as you move range of motion. You're pushing that hand into your back. You're finding out what position it destabilizes. You're going to stabilize that shoulder so it doesn't hurt doing this. Keep your abs engaged. You can go opposite direction any old time you want. Keep pushing it into your body. Once again, you got a playing card between the back of your hand and your spine that you don't want to lose. It's a credit card. Let's make it even one more riskier. Who cares about the playing card? Okay, go ahead, release that arm and just see what it feels like. Send it through some ranges of motion. We're gonna do the opposite side. You're gonna put the other hand behind your back, just below your shoulder blade. You're gonna push your arm against your spine. Abs are nice and tight. You're sucking in your tummy. And then we're gonna start our ranges of motion again. Keep breathing. Okay, go in the opposite direction again. Okay, go ahead and stop, release your arm, move it around a little bit, just get some circulation back into it. You should notice much more mobility of your shoulder, much more connection to your shoulder, and less vulnerability of your shoulder. You should also notice another interesting feature, your neck should feel super loose. Yes, no, yes, no, yes. You should feel a lot of tension, like so tomorrow, today even, and tomorrow you'll feel like you did an upper body workout, even though we went after stretch. This next piece, we're gonna need the ball and a strap, if you have a strap. We're gonna put the ball in between your knees and you're gonna give it a squeeze. We can't do this for long because it does cut off circulation a little bit. But you're gonna take your strap and you're gonna run it around the outside of your legs as the ball is on the inside of your legs. Because we're gonna try to reenact that same dynamic tension, and then we're gonna go back up to the upper body and do some more stuff. Because we were working the abductors, now we'll work the adductors on the upper half of the body. I'm reminding myself, I'm not reminding you guys. Okay, so once the strap is around your legs, you're gonna tighten it up enough that it gives the ball a little bit of a squeeze so the ball's not gonna drop out. You'll notice your legs naturally wanna bend. I want those feet parallel, and I want your stance narrower than the ball's being squeezed. So what I'm saying is don't let this happen. This looks like you got a pea with an egg between your legs. I want your feet to be closer. That's creating dynamic tension. Then tighten that sucker up. First things first, we're gonna do a micro squat. You're gonna go into a semi squat. Abs are nice and tight, or they say demi squat. Okay, and then you're gonna rip the strap apart. Because the strap is so tight, you won't lose the ball. So this will turn on your outer butt muscles. That's the same thing we were doing with the arms. And you're gonna squat down and you're gonna come up. I don't care how far you go down. You're gonna do this time under tension. That means your abs are on, your quads are on, your calves are on, your hamstrings are on, your lats are on. Nothing turns off as you do this. You're ripping apart the strap. Keep breathing. This should be working your glute medius, glute minimus, and glute max. If you're ripping the strap apart properly, keep your abs engaged, keep that pelvic floor on. 9, 10. Okay, stay at the top now. You're gonna squeeze the ball, but because you tightened your strap up enough, the strap's not gonna drop off. So you're squeezing the ball right now, so that's why we want the feet closer together. Abs are nice and tight. Keep that squeeze going on, like you got someone's head between your legs and you don't want them to run away. Why that would happen, I'm not sure, but it could happen. I watch Instagram, I see crazier things. Abs are nice and tight, suck in your tummy, and you're gonna do the same squat. Squeeze the ball, don't lose it. Abs are nice and tight. This is using a different division of your butt muscles and your quad muscles, creating that same dynamic tension that we're using in the upper body. We're gonna use the same kind of muscular motion in the upper half of the body after we do this. I just wanna make sure it's turned on here. Keep your pelvic floor on. Keep your abs on. 8, 9, And grab a hold of your roller real quick. So now, I'm going to tighten my strap up a little bit. You may have to as well. Things get loose. Suck in your tummy. You're ripping apart the strap now. You're going to lift up your left leg. Keeping the strap being ripped apart, you're going to bend and straighten your left leg. Rip apart the strap. This will work your glute mediuses. Glute medius is an important muscle in walking. You lose it, you start limping accidentally. This is why we work on working that glute medius so much. Abs. Make sure this knee's over the top of your foot. 9, 10. Now we're going to do the same thing. Oh no, let's just switch sides first. My brain can't think that well. Okay, you're standing on your foot. You're ripping apart the strap. You lift your leg up. Keep the knee back behind you. Keep this knee over the top of your foot. Keep ripping apart the strap like you're trying to tear it. You're trying to bust free of the strap. Abs. 8, 9, 10. Good. Switch sides again. So now we're going to squeeze the ball. We're squeezing it. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Take your leg back behind you. Same thing. You're going to bend and straighten your leg. Now you're using your adductors and your sartorius. Squeeze that ball, chest up, eyes up, heart up. Abs, 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 abs. 9, 10. Switch sides. Squeeze. And then bend and straighten. Suck in that tummy. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And good. Last things. Okay, rip apart the strap. As you're standing, get your feet closer together, rip apart the strap, abs nice and tight. We're gonna do a hip circle. Suck in your tummy. You're gonna notice it's really easy to do a hip circle. Rip apart that strap, opposite direction. Keep connected to your abs. Okay, now you're gonna squeeze the ball. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. You'll notice your legs wanna straighten, that's okay. We're gonna slightly bend though. Squeeze the ball, abs are nice and tight, hip circles. Now you're gonna notice it's easier to do a fast hip circle. Suck in that tummy. We're almost done with this because by now circulation in your legs are starting to get questionable. Opposite direction. Make sure the weight's 50-50 over both feet and you're not going heavy in one foot. And good. Let's go ahead and strap up those legs. Woo, boop, boop. Let the blood flow. We're gonna just take this ball off to the side. We're gonna go back to some weirdness. We're gonna be standing on the feet once again. Feet parallel, knees bent, knees over tops of your feet. We're gonna put our hands together. We're squeezing. So this is an isometric exercise. You used to see these done in the 50s, but we're gonna do it differently. We're gonna add a dynamic component to it. So we're creating that upper ring again, just like we were squeezing a ball after working a strap. We're gonna squeeze our arms together, chest up, shoulder blades down and back, squeeze. Once again, it's like you got a credit card in between your hands and there's a string connected and your daughter wants it and you don't wanna let her have it. Squeeze! And now you're gonna take your arms up. This is the ultimate samurai test of being able to keep your credit card away from your daughter. Up and down. Keep your abs engaged. Your abs don't shut off, your quads don't shut off, your calves don't shut off, your butt stays relaxed. Pelvic floor is on. Keep that tension in the shoulders. Keep stabilizing this joint. There's no point where it snap, crackles, or pops. Abs are engaged. Okay, now we add motion. Squeeze. Notice where it feels almost like the credit card could be stolen. I want you to keep the tension on your hands, opposite direction. Squeeze, make sure both arms are working. Not one's just static and one's dynamic, they're both dynamic. Good. Okay, we're gonna do it. You're gonna put one hand up, one hand down. You're this way. You're keeping that dynamic tension. You're working the bicep. You're gonna keep this ring in the upper half of the body going on. Keep your abs engaged. You're just gonna lift up and lower down. Keep your knees bent, keep your pelvic floor on. Opposition of forces. Keep breathing, stabilize that shoulder. This is why golf is so hard. You have to keep that ring on and work from your abs. But you keep it with straight arms in golf, and that's what feels weird. You're thinking you should get it with bent arms. Okay, we're just gonna switch sides. This palm goes up. Abs are nice and tight. We're gonna start out with just up and down, get a feel for it. And then we can add motion to it. You can lift it up and lower it. And you can see how, like in golf, you keep your arms still, you swing from your torso. But you have to practice it. Keep your butt relaxed. Your quads are on, your abs are on. Okay, above your head. This is some of the hardest. Really hang on to that credit card. Abs are nice and tight. You're sending it forward and backwards. Right at the top. You're moving from your shoulders, not from your elbows, so it's not elbow bending, it's shoulder motion. Keep squeezing. Don't lose the credit card. It's one of those high interest rate credit cards. And your kids are looking really, really excited about Christmas shopping for themselves. Keep squeezing, 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 squeezing. Don't use your neck. And relax. So you're feeling really upright, and you're noticing it's more natural to get in the good posture just from doing this. And that's the whole point of doing exercises like these, is it sets up good posture, because you can't do this in bad mechanics. Okay, next one, we're gonna put our hands behind our back and we're gonna squeeze. It's gonna be harder than you think. In fact, interlock your fingers a little bit, but squeeze. So don't use your fingers to hold together. Use the muscles drawing together as you move your arms away from your body and back to your body. Abs are engaged. They'll wanna turn off. Mine just turned off. I'm turning them back on again. So this is a sit-up. Keep those abs engaged. Shoulder blades down and back. Do not look like Monday Night Football. Keep those shoulder blades down and back. Keep that chin tucked in. Head over top of your pelvic floor. And now we add motion. Keep squeezing it. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Hold on to that credit card. It's okay if you cramp. Opposite direction is cramping because you don't use these muscles. And notice it's mainly your chest muscles that are trying to cramp, not your back muscles. Chest up, abs on. Squeeze, 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 and relax. Oh, that one should have taken a lot of tension out of your neck. Your neck should feel super loose, so just move it around. Let's see what you've done. That's so good for yourself. Okay, shoulders are open. We're gonna go back to the calf stretch. It's gonna feel different. So your ball of your left foot is on the block, your feet are parallel, abs are nice and tight, you're sucking in your tummy. Feet parallel, and you're gonna pump your hips forward. This should feel a whole lot easier. There's gonna feel a whole lot less tension in the upper body that you usually fight. It's gonna be a whole lot easier to get your head over top of your body. So now really turn on your core as you're doing this. First, second, third chakras. Keep breathing. Just see how your shoulders feel. They should feel worked, but they shouldn't feel in pain. And that's the big thing. You'll disconnect the over relationship with the neck and shoulders. Okay, good. We're gonna switch sides. It's not very exciting. Abs are nice and tight. Suck in that tummy. Shoulder blades are down and back. Lats are on. The lats are the key. Lats, rhomboids. So important in shoulder stability. I was trying to explain to people that we have one pec muscle that pulls your arms together. We have 5 muscles in our back that pull our arms apart. So we really got to work on those lats and those rhomboids. Stabilize things, lower trapezius. But keep the ab connection so we don't rip the chest apart. All right, we're gonna come down into kneeling now. This is open up the shoulder even though it's not gonna feel like it. You need your strap again. The strap's gonna go around your shin and your thigh. I've talked about it before. There used to be a movie with Kirk Douglas and he played a peg leg and all he did was strap his leg up and put it in a peg. And it didn't look right because his quad was too tight. But it was also Kirk Douglas, so you gotta love the movie. He was a pirate and he smoked cigarettes with pages of a Bible, if that's not insulting. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna stretch your rectus femoris. This is this muscle on the front of the leg. Because the leg is strapped down, it's a deeper stretch than you normally can get by yourself. So do not let work go into your low back, because remember what I said is this is time under tension. So we're working muscles, not joints. So if you feel this in your low back, it means you need to tighten your abs up. You have to figure out how you relax this, left leg. But we're gonna put our knee on the block, not because it's fancy, it's just it gives you more padding under your knee. Put it towards the back side of the block, the most rear portion of the block, and then you're gonna step your right foot forward. Just see what the balance feels like. You're gonna stretch forward. This is deeper than it normally is. Keep your abs engaged. Okay, we're gonna put the roller out in front of us like this for a very specific reason. We're gonna work the shoulder. We're gonna work the left shoulder. You're gonna go forward and stretch. 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 I come in peace. Hail. Keep your abs on. If you feel cramping in your low back, well, you're using your low back, you're not using your abs. One more. Okay, good. We're gonna pick the roller back out to the side. You can keep your hand on your knee. You're gonna do hip circles. It's gonna come from your hips. As always, you're gonna try to keep your head over the top of the block. It'll move slightly, but for the most part, it doesn't move. Your hips are moving. And then opposite direction. Very good. Take the roller out in front of you. You're going to do a leaning stretch. You're going to stretch, open up the shoulder more than you're stretching out the rectus femoris, though you will get the rectus femoris. You're going to have to twist to your right. This comes in handy if you're cleaning the kitchen floor and you forgot the spray bottle on the top of the counter at the farthest away point and you don't feel like getting up, you can reach for it and grab it. That didn't happen to me just yesterday. Okay, come back into kneeling. Whoops. We're gonna switch sides. So all you have to do is really slide this strap down your leg after you loosen it a tiny little bit. And then you're gonna slide it up your other leg. Remember, we're going after the quad muscle. Feel it in your back, you need to tighten your abs. This is all about learning where to stabilize. Okay, from here, you're gonna have your knee towards the back of the block, because by the time you roll up onto it, you'll be in the center of the block. You're gonna step forward with that left foot. Abs are nice and tight, you're sucking in your tummy, and you're just gonna pump forward. Just get some lengthening on that rectus femoris. Keep breathing, keep your abs engaged. So there's been many spin-offs from the Marvel universe, they call it. They've had, was it Falcon and what is the other one? I forgot. That terrible. They had really, really bad. It was called WandaVision. That's horrible. That's Wanda, one of the psychic one that could do with energy with her hands, and Vision, the computer guy. And terrible. It's like a really bad episode of I Love Lucy. But they just recently came out with Hawkeye, and I have to say I really like it. Partially because they're mortals, not immortals, so when they get punched, it hurts. Like they're saying ow, and the next morning they have ice packs all over themselves. Okay, rollers out in front of us, you're gonna stretch a little further. And now we're gonna do our arm. Hello! But don't let anything go in your back. Keep everything in your abs, your rectus femoris. Jaws relaxed. Keep breathing. Suck in that tummy. Eight, 9. I don't even know if that's a count. I just say 8, 9, 10. 10. Okay, we're gonna go into a deep stretch. Deep, 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 deep stretch. Opening everything up. Open up your shoulders, open up your abs, open up your lats, but keep your abs engaged to protect your back. Okay. Whew. I know we haven't done any pelvic floor exercises today, but you're doing it by doing the correct thing. So we're coming back into kneeling. We're gonna unstrap this leg, and we're gonna put it back up the other leg. You'll see why. You okay, Wolfie? Hi, Wolfie. You're gonna come visit? Yeah, you're a sweet dog. Okay. You're gonna sit on your butt now. That means your left leg stays bent. So you're gonna see what it's like to be on your back. Wolfie's just gonna scratch away. We just cut the grass. That's always a fun time for her. Okay, you're gonna lay on your back. We're gonna do, forgot to take the microphone off, that hurts. Okay, you're gonna straighten out your leg. Abs are nice and tight. This knee is bent. We're gonna do a spinal rotation. This is gonna hold you in form, so you can't cheat. And we're gonna do a spinal rotation. Really try to take your left arm back, but you're gonna pretend your left arm's pushing against something as you take it into that range of motion of being back behind you. You're gonna squeeze with your adductors on this leg like you're trying to crush a ball between your knee and the ground. And we're gonna do a true spinal rotation as you suck in your tummy, tighten your abs. Keep your first, second, third chakras on. You know, you should notice that it feels a little easier and safer because you're not worried about trying to control what your left leg's doing. So work on core connection, work on shoulder stability, work on hip stability. Should feel a deep stretch just about now into that left booty cheek. Suck in that tummy. And breathe. You should notice your shoulder opened up. So this stretch is easier because your shoulder is way open and you're not fighting your shoulder in a spinal rotation. So that's how much the biomechanics of your shoulder can affect your neck and your spinal motion, but it's really caused by what's going on in the lower extremities. It's a weird dynamic system we have as a human body. Just a little longer. Should feel pretty good. Okay, good. Go ahead and go on your back. Unfortunately, you gotta sit back up because we gotta come into kneeling to strap the other leg up again. So sit on up. Come into kneeling. We're working another thing that's important. We have to be able to bend the knees in order to heal the knees. So we're working on bending the knees. Where's it going on here? Okay. Okay, strap that leg down. Okay, now that everyone's set up, I gotta figure out where to put the microphone so I don't roll over it. Your left leg goes out in front of you, you're on your back, your right leg's in the air first. Okay, abs are nice and tight. Bump your hips slightly over to the right. You're gonna take that left knee over, or right knee over to the left. You're gonna do spinal rotation, and then you're gonna open up your pec by taking your left arm back. Suck in your tummy. Really turn things on. If it feels wrong in your shoulder, tighten up whatever needs to tighten up. Remember to breathe. Shoulders tear because whatever muscle tore was the only muscle working. If all the muscles are working, then you don't tear your shoulder. This I know from personal experience because I did it in the middle of COVID. Cheating, of course. So the work I have to do to heal my shoulder is not to heal that one muscle, but heal the relationship with all the muscles working. Just like if you had 10 employees and one employee is feeling overworked, it's not that you give that one employee less work, it's that you get all the employees to work as hard as that one employee that's overworked. Then you'll have a fine moving system and everyone will be happy and healthy. Keep breathing, see what it feels like to open up your shoulder. Because you're creating an opposition, I'm pushing against something that way. As my arm goes back, because it's being pushed away, I'm squeezing a ball between my knee and the ground. And I'm keeping my abs engaged. And breathing, and smiling up. These are not too much. Just notice what it feels like as you ease into it. What wants to shut off? This is not a game of shutting off. It's like what has to turn on and to what degree so I can get in this position with the least amount of effort or stress, but the maximum amount of tension. Lats are on, abs are on, pelvic floor is on. Okay, come back to center. If you want, you could sit back up, or if you got enough control, you could just unstrap that leg. You're gonna lay flat back against the ground. See what the ground feels like. See how much flatter your shoulders are against the ground. That's what your neck feels like. We're not done, but we're getting there. You're gonna sit up now, you're gonna lay on your roller lengthwise. This is getting closer to being done. Maria's not here, so I have to do the strap because she would do it because she's very organized. She does pottery, only her wheel, for those who have ever done pottery, looks like it's brand new because she cleans like as she's working. It's just an amazing thing to see. We went to this one potter's house and she had clay. I don't know how she did it, not only on the walls behind the pottery wheel, which you expect, but it was also up on the ceilings. It was in a window at quite a distance. It's all over the floor. It's even out on the driveway. And she hasn't done a pot in years, or hasn't thrown in years. And that's how messy she was. And that's how clean Maria is. Okay, you're laying on top of your roller lengthwise, but it's at one end, head's at the other end. Okay, we're gonna play the shoulder game a little bit more. Hands together, you're squeezing, you're gonna hatch it. Keep your abs engaged. Don't let your spine come off the roller. That's how you keep the ab connection all the way up to your shoulders to protect your shoulders. Keep your abs engaged. This is all about your abs. You shouldn't even feel your shoulders because all the work's in your abs and your lats. Okay, now you're gonna interlock your fingers. You're gonna try to rip your hands apart as you continue to hatch it. No crunching or grinding because you're turning muscles on. Abs are engaged, spine stays against the roller the whole time. And then finally, just put your hands by your sides. Your feet are parallel, your knees are bent, your knees are over the tops of your feet. Shoulder blades are down and back. Head's on top of your roller. Feel what it feels like to breathe now. See how easy it is to keep your core engaged. We didn't sit on the ball to do our pelvic floor exercises, but we worked the pelvic floor, believe it or not. Just feel what everything feels like. You should feel a little bit tired, like you did strong shoulder work. But it feels tiring because you connected into your core, so that's total body work. Continue to stay on the roller. I'm going to sit up to bring you guys home. Feel for the alignment of head over the top of your pelvic floor. Your abs are engaged. That's why your spine's against the roller. Your shoulder blades are down and back. Your chest is open. It's everything we're working for in good posture. Good posture protects your shoulders. Good posture is athletic balance. Good posture is leadership. We're working with an owner of a business, and we're trying to explain to him his employees are feeling very insecure because of his posture. He went from a very strong body language to a very, very weak one. I will give you an example, and I want you to look it up on the internet. I want you to look up Bill Gates. I use him so much in body language talks because he started out in really strong body language and everyone followed him. Everyone believed in him. He could do no wrong. Somewhere along the line, he started looking like Yertle the turtle. He started rounding his shoulders, his head started going anterior, his belly started hanging out, his tail started tucking. He's not trusted like he was before. He's not the symbol of rebellion that he was when he was younger. There's a great picture of Bill Gates when he was young. He was arrested on a DUI, I think it was in Albuquerque, and he's got the placard on his chest, and he's got a look on his face like, this is not going to stick because this is not who I am. And his chest was up. But eventually, somewhere along the line, I don't know what it is, hard work, money, I'm not sure. He has become a tired, old-looking man, and there's a photo, I'll post it, of him when he's trying to understand what's going on with one of his own products. I think it was the Xbox, and the kid's trying to explain it to him, and the kid, who's slouching over trying to be submissive, has better body language than he does. And I tell people, when your underlings have better posture than you do, you're no longer the leader. This includes family, this includes friends, this includes animals. Whoever has the most dominant language is the leader. And it's not about being dominating, it's being in the place of being in leadership. So the person that we lead the most is ourselves. So that body language is the language that you describe to yourself about your health, about your beliefs, about your strengths and your weaknesses. And that's why we work on body language and posture and mechanics. Because it gives your internal system, your endocrine system, your nervous system, your lymphatic system, your vascular system, the message of thriving or not doing so well. So as you're laying on the roller for the last few minutes, just close your eyes and start breathing because you're in ideal posture. Feel what it feels like to have yourself be along with your spine, your head over the top of your pelvic floor, your abs engaged, your legs dynamic and ready to work, your arms free to move. Feel what it feels like to breathe. Now start drawing all of this towards your center. We're on the last stretch before the New Year's. Your last year's resolutions, well, you're kind of out of time on them. You're going to start your next year's one. But either way, are you starting or finishing in good body language, in good mechanics, in good health, and in good centering? Because at the end of the day, when you interact with loved ones, you interact with yourself. You do the work that you were meant to do. You want to come from your center. So find it and breathe it. I love my Maria because she is off volunteering, helping someone else's business, someone else's dream. But she's doing it in great posture and great openness and from her center. And she would do that for someone else's business and her belief in someone else. Just make sure when you do things, you're coming from that same place. And on behalf of Maria and me, thank you all for being here, bringing your energy, your willingness, your open-mindedness, your willingness to try, your body language, your heart language, your energies. Namaste.